Howdy, folks. I'm Kimmy G, and this
I,
is,
I'm Jeff. This is Tools, Technology, and Training.
yes, and it's sponsored by Milton Industries and Associated Equipment. And on the first Wednesday of the month, we love celebrating amazing women in our industry by highlighting their stories on our show. So the beautiful Tiffany is here with some special guests. So, who do you have for us tonight, Tiffany?
Hi, Kimmy. We have a lineup for you. I'm really excited about this evening's guest because one of the main focuses of Amazing Women at Automotive is to recruit and retain women in the automotive industry. Amber Avery Graff, who's a former technician and now works as a teacher at the technical college, bringing in our youngsters into the industry, is going to share a story that she shared in the group. She's a newer member. She's been with us for about 9 months. She found out about the program through the High Tech Expo, from either a booth or somebody that she had met there. And I'm just going to let her share that story because it's so easy to come on these podcasts and you hear all these inspiring stories about everything that's gone great, but sometimes you don't get to hear the difficult side and the struggles. And I felt like Amber's story was really inspiring, and I wanted to give her an opportunity to share that.
Hi.
Howdy.
So I was inspired to share my story because I had stumbled across an article that highlighted that the automotive industry only has about 2% women in the industry. And it highlighted a lot of issues that have come up that make the environment not as supportive as we'd like it to be. And in reading that article, I realized I was like, oh my gosh, like so much of this is my story and what happened with me. And I got into this industry initially, I was about 20 years old and I had a car that did not run well and did not have a career. And in fixing it, realized I actually really enjoyed working with my hands and solving problems. And being a young lady without any automotive background, I was trying to figure out how to navigate, how to get into this industry, knowing that it's a male dominated industry and I would have to, really prove myself. So I initially got a job at a quick lube business, really hoping to get into the bays and changing oil. Of course, I was put greeting customers because I was a young lady and was not able to get my hands dirty like I wanted to. Of course, dealt with a lot of harassment, customer biases, and what have you. I realized that being there wasn't going to work for me. So I got into school where I was supported. I mean, I found a community. I was really supported by my fellow classmates and my teachers, and then was looking to get into a dealership, which was kind of my next hurdle. And at the dealership, I was not treated very well. There was a lot of, um, you know, trying to find a better word because I know this is going to be published. A lot of discrimination against me being a woman. People being really mean, saying I wasn't able to do things, I wasn't going to make it, I was wasting my time. And for me, of course, it made me more determined to just get it done and get it done better than everybody else. I ended up completing a 2-year program. I graduated top of my class. I was the only one to complete all 8 of my A-level ASEs and my L1 upon graduation. And to this day, that was about 10 years ago, to this day, I'm the only female on the wall that has accomplished that. Yeah, and just worked through the industry. I worked in the industry for a few years and then was asked to come back and teach, which I love. So now I'm here, I get to be forward facing. A lot of young men come through the programs and I'm able to just squash any stigmas they have right away. They have me teaching them, and so they don't get to go out there with any prejudices against women. But like I said, the article just really highlighted, how women are treated and kind of pushed to the side. And the culture in the shop is, the good old boys club. Conversations are happening that are not comfortable for, people in general. And we talk about Now, like if you worked in a business, that would not be okay conversations to have. So why are they okay in automotive? Why is it okay in the shop to have these conversations with each other and say these things? And when anybody calls you out, well, it's just how it is. Get over it. And it's just not inviting or supportive. And I kept my head down and trudged through it, but it's definitely something that I hope changes. And I hope the next generation looks at it a little bit differently and values the diversity in the room.
So what college are you teaching at?
I teach at Shoreline Community College, which is just north of Seattle, Washington.
That's awesome. I want to ask, what is your top tip? Because you sound similar to me. The mental side is there where instead of caving and breaking down and walking away, you said kind of like hold my sweet tea and watch this, right?
Mhm.
So what's your top tip for younger, students who are still trying to build that confidence and they really need your help pushing through the hard times and not throwing in the towel?
I think for me, finding my person. I found somebody in the dealership out of everybody that was giving me a hard time. I found, and I joke, it was the old guy in the corner that yelled at everybody all day. I ended up befriending him, and he was probably the most valuable asset to me and my protector in that time. And then at school, same thing. My teacher was phenomenal and had my back. So just having those two people in my corner really made me be able to just keep trudging through. So find your person somewhere. There's somebody for you somewhere. Yeah.
I love that. Such good advice. We all need accountability partners and definitely people that are in your corner.
I teach the second year general program. I tell everybody it's the fun side. So the other instructor teaches the basics, maintenance and light repair, and kind of how to show up in life. And then I get to teach them the diagnostics and tear down and push them to go take their tests and get jobs. So I get to watch their lives start taking that change as they get employed and use their skills. I particularly like electrical and engine performance, and so when they start to understand those concepts, it's a lot of fun. I joke I like to make their brains melt out of their ears, and then I pick it back up and stuff it back in, and then they figure it out. So that's my favorite part.
I'm curious, Amber, if you have noticed since you've taken on that class, have you seen an increase in young ladies that have entered the program? Or are they noticing anything? Or have they watched that?
Unfortunately, not as quickly as I would like. I did meet, so one of the things that's interesting is there's a lot of high school automotive programs, and they have about 35% female participation in those, which we are not seeing in the education side, post-secondary, or in the industry. And so I actually went and met with a group of them last year. And I mean, high schoolers, you can imagine, they're very blunt. And the first question they asked was about the culture with women, and that's what's on their minds is what does this look like? It's what's on their parents' minds. What does this look like? So it's not changing as fast as I would like, but I definitely try to be a mentor for any of the young ladies that come into any of our programs.
Well, maybe AWIA can help make that a little faster. We'll see what we can do.
That'd be great. Yeah, we make visits regularly, and then the auto programs come to us as well. One of the big times we see the students is during the Seattle Auto Show. They go to that, and so they'll stop by and take a tour. But we're pretty involved with the high schools, trying to get those relationships built. We have something called articulation agreements, which if they do their high school automotive class, they actually get 36 automotive credits and can come right in with those credits and start the second year of the program.
Yeah, dual credit, or where you go to the community college and be able to apply credits before you go to the university. So very nice. So Tiffany, who else do you have tonight?
So this could take most of the evening to recognize Elaine Craft and all her titles and everything that she's accomplished, but I'm going to focus on the reason I invited her. So I was introduced to Elaine through a gentleman named Ken, who I met at Vision. So we've talked about conferences so many times and the connections and the networking. And it's true even for us in the schools and these programs that are out there. But I met Elaine. He introduced me because of her work with the Mentor Connect program. She is also the principal investigator for NSF, National Science Foundation ATE grant, which is a grant that she's helped AWIA connect with other programs like Kiara's, who we're going to meet later in the show, to recruit women and increase those numbers, like Amber was talking about wanting to do with her program. So I will let Elaine take it from here and explain what Mentor Connect, the NSF grant, is all about. Elaine?
Okay, thank you. First of all, I want to say to Amber and to the others who may be listening to this that I had a similar path. My undergraduate degree was in chemical engineering, and this was a much longer time ago, but I was the only female and went through a lot of the same things that you've talked about, and it just kind of brought it all back to me. And particularly one incident where I told the person that was registering people and signing people up for classes, and she looked at my schedule and she said, "Chemical engineering, ladies don't do that." And I said, "Well, I've talked to the head of the department and he says I can do this." And she had this long line of people waiting to get forms signed. And finally, she looked up at me and she said, "Well, you know where my office is when you get ready to change your major."
Oh my goodness.
Well, just like Amber, and cheers to you, that just made me more determined. I thought, over my dead body, will I go back and get my major changed? I'm going to show her that I can do this. And that was the drive that got me through a very challenging program. And then when I tried to get a job, there was only one company in my state that was hiring chemical engineering graduates at that time. And they interviewed me and then sent me a letter and said, "Your record is stellar. Your credentials are wonderful. Our interviewer had a terrific conversation with you, but we don't hire women." Long enough ago that it really is not, it really is not, it was a different era. And it didn't even occur to me that was, and I thought, well, maybe I didn't want to work for them anyway, because I did have plenty of job opportunities from other places, but just not from there, which, has always struck me as being a little odd. So all to say, I have a great deal of understanding of how challenging it is when you go into a non-traditional field. And I migrated from industry into education and taught at the two-year colleges where I've absolutely loved the students. They're so hungry for knowledge and for wanting to improve their lives. And it just is a very rewarding place to teach, as I'm sure those of you who teach in two-year colleges have seen and experienced. Which ultimately led me to this National Science Foundation program that I've had the privilege of working in now for 30 years. This is a unique funding opportunity at the National Science Foundation that is pretty specific to two-year technical and community colleges, which makes it odd within the world of NSF to begin with, because it's basically a scientific research organization, and they fund a lot of grants to research universities to do basic science and engineering and mathematics and technology research. But this particular program was created by Congress because they knew that the skilled technical workforce, which is made up of those that have more than high school and less than a four-year degree, was absolutely critical to the competitiveness of this country and to the support of the industries in this country. And so they passed special legislation. It was called the SATA legislation, Scientific and Advanced Technology Act. And that was the 30 years ago when this program at NSF got started. And it has been more or less a darling of Congress ever since. It has just been reauthorized. and with the option of doubling the budget for the program, which is very exciting. Now, authorizing the funds is different than saying that you can do it. So they have not yet doubled the budget, but they now have legislation in place that allows them to do that as they can. So it's a very exciting program that provides funding for many things that you can't get funding from other sources that typically two-year colleges go after. The Department of Education primarily is the funding source that two-year colleges use. They also get some Department of Labor money, and they get money from some other sources too. But National Science Foundation has never been one of the go-to places for two-year colleges. And so many of the two-year colleges have missed this opportunity to access funds from this advanced technological education program. And for many years, in fact, for the first 20 years of this program, there was a very small number of two-year colleges taking advantage of this program. And the folks that run the program said, well, we're glad that the people who are coming to us with proposals and that we're funding their projects are coming and that we're able to fund their projects, but this is not serving the purpose. We want this money going out to every single two-year technical and community college that's working on these advanced technologies. And how are we going to do that? So we came up with a project that they funded through the same program. And it's called Mentor Connect. And what we have done is take those who have experience in this program, have learned how to write competitive grant proposals, and have been successful, and they want to give back. Just like I love this particular organization, this Awesome Women in Automotive is just the best, because it's really all about giving back and paying it forward. And so we have people in this program that feel the same way. And so they are now serving as mentors. And my project, the project that I lead, is offering some education to two-year college faculty to teach them what this program's all about, how you get the money, how you put together a competitive proposal. And we have a mentor that works with them one-on-one for about 9 months before these proposals are due, because they are complex. And you need guidance, or you're likely to misstep along the way. So we try to teach them what they need to know. And these grants can be used for faculty development. As you know, as the technologies change, you've got to keep your faculty up to date. You can do curriculum improvements. You can do recruitment if you need money for students. You can pay, you can have student internships. There's a very, very broad area of work that you can do with these grants. And one of the important things about it is that the National Science Foundation knows that people need time to do these grants. And so you can build personnel time into these grants. And a lot of grants that you get, they might allow you to buy equipment or do something else, but they don't give you any money for the people that have got to get the work done. But NSF is not like that. They want the faculty very involved in these grants, and you can put money in the grant to pay the faculty directly. They can get release time from teaching. They can get overload pay. There are all kinds of ways that you can compensate the faculty. But I love that NSF believes that people should get compensated to do this work. So we love connecting these two-year college educators with this money and this opportunity to improve their programs and serve students and industries better.
And you had mentioned a couple of the programs that you're working on while we were off camera. Go ahead and mention those. The EV.
Yeah, well, we've got a lot of projects that we're working with now that, of course, are doing that fundamental transition from traditional automotive to the new alternate fuel vehicles, mostly EV, but we also have some hydrogen fuel programs, particularly in California. And we even have one project we're working with now that's working with large commercial vehicles that are transitioning to the alternative fuel technologies. And they're all working on proposals to get money to help them get the equipment. I mean, this money can even be used to buy an electric vehicle. I mean, it's really a fabulous funding source. And our success rate for connecting these two-year college educators to this money has traditionally been more than 70%. So more than 70% of the ones we work with get funded. This year, we're actually having a better year than normal. We're going to have 80-something% of the ones we've worked with this year that are going to get funded. And the funding rate at the National Science Foundation is overall is less than 30%. So there's a lot to learning how to do this and knowing the nuances of the program and what to do and not to do, and having somebody hold your hand throughout, because two-year college faculty are busy. I mean, they don't have time to dig all this stuff out and figure it out. So we fill in the gaps and help them along the way.
I'm gonna ask, so like action step wise, if someone's like, this sounds great, I need to do this. So they write the grants to you?
No, the grants go to the National Science Foundation. We just show them how to do that. And the nice thing is, because we are funded by the program, there is no cost to the colleges to participate. In fact, we actually have stipends that we pay the faculty that are involved. We pay travel expenses. We pay travel expenses to have an administrator and a grant writer come to our workshops with them. They get to go to, it's not the HTech conference that you mentioned earlier tonight, but it's called the High Impact Technology Exchange Conference, or high tech. They get to go to that conference at the expense of the project that we're implementing. So you get a lot of it. It falls into the category of this just sounds too good to be true, and it really is. But the ATE program is absolutely committed to having as many two-year colleges benefit from this money as is possible, and we're helping make that happen.
That's awesome. And I saw the link come through. So we'll go ahead and get that link posted.
Right.
For
And when you say 30 years, I've been around more than 40 years, and I have never heard of this, Tiffany. This is amazing that you connected us with this, and now it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes, I hope more schools will step up and get with Elaine to get some of this money. And to her point, I've worked with Head Start for 20 years, and the grant process can be very overwhelming through the federal government. The requirements and the reporting and working with the schools that they have connected me with, I have been very impressed with how lenient and how creative they are allowing the staff to be with the funds. We've written for money to help set up women's student groups, so that they can do fun things like give the Girl Scouts their merit badges for automotive. That way you're reaching multi-generations, and this is going to affect so many people, and hopefully over time recruit more females into the industry, so that we're seeing that as being more normalized, to walk into a shop and see a woman working on her car, so that she's not harassed or pressured, or you don't have that issue. So I'm really excited about what this is doing, and I hope there's a lot of school teachers and people out there that will pick up on this, because they do make it very easy. They're with you step by step, and every school they've handed me, as far as I know, has gotten approved for this loan, or for this grant. So it's just incredible.
And what the Awesome Women in Automotive is offering that is so difficult. I mean, as Amber pointed out, even working at it, these programs still have small numbers of females. So they don't have a peer group. They don't have people to talk to. So the fact that there's a mechanism for connecting them with a mentor in the industry that is so powerful. And I'm so grateful for having gotten the connection to this organization, and for these prospective grantees to have the opportunity to connect with you. And you've been very responsive, and we're very grateful for that.
Now, did you just connect at Vision this year?
No,
Yeah.
it was two
About a year.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. It's been recently though.
Yeah, I believe it was 2 years ago. Yeah, we haven't known each other for very long.
Mhm.
And Ken is just such an awesome guy, and he's been
He
so
is.
good working with all the applicants that we're with. Everybody says such good things. They're all so helpful. I've met several of the mentors that are working with the school. I would just say if there's any schools out there considering it, don't feel overwhelmed, don't feel intimidated. Reach out, go through the process. Like I tell a lot of people who are afraid to ask a question, the worst they can say is no. There's no dumb question. Give it a chance, give it an opportunity, just try.
I love that. All ships rise with the tide, right?
Yep.
So, Tiffany, you had brought Kiara on, and I just wanted to see if you would introduce her and tell us a little bit about her.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. So Kiara is the transportation department. She's the program development for the transportation department of Central Piedmont Community College. They are in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, and they are currently going through that NSF process. So you guys just started the mentor piece, right, Kiara?
Yes. Yes, we just started that mentor piece. A few months ago, we went to New Orleans for our first kind of meeting, and now we're getting prepped to go to Kansas City here soon.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the process so far? Have you learned a lot?
Yes, I've learned so much. There's a lot that kind of goes into grant processes that initially a lot of people wouldn't think about. But it's very detailed oriented, and you really need that mentor there to help kind of fill in the gaps where you may be missing. I definitely say it's a balancing act, and definitely a symbiotic relationship. We need our industry professionals and our subject matter experts, along with our mentors and the people who've kind of been through it before. So that way we can kind of learn from their experiences and have access to their networks and just really make the best of the situations. Yes, this will help our program because currently right now we only have about 6% of female students, and that's across all of our programs, not just automotive, but heavy diesel equipment as well, and CDL programs. So we are hoping that this grant can help recruiting efforts, kind of get our faces out more to the transportation industries that are having like high school students come aboard. So kind of connecting with industry partners in that way to create more of a pipeline situation that we can then express to our CMS partners, which is our Charlotte Mecklenburg schools partners. There are a couple of schools in our area that actually have that those automotive programs established. So we're kind of leaning on them a lot. And we actually have some recruiters in on site within the high schools. So letting them know like, hey, talk to them about the automotive program. Let some of the female students know that is not just for males, that women can do this job too, especially how things have changed in regards of like tools and equipment to kind of help with some of the heavy lifting. But I've talked to some of our instructors. They mentioned that when their female students come through the program, they soar and excel, and they have that well-rounded experience that kind of gives them that upper hand in the industry if they're just given that opportunity. And kind of what Amber was mentioning earlier, breaking down some of those stereotypes and just showing that women are here and we can do this job, and we can kind of, I always tell my students, don't let the boys have all the fun because we can do it as well.
Love that. Don't let them have all the fun.
Yes, so we have partnered with the Greater Charlotte Auto Dealers. There was a woman who was the executive director, and she has been amazing to help connect us to some local dealerships and some other amazing women in the industry as well. I've actually started a focus group for women in automotive in dealerships, or if they're technicians, or in any mom and pop shops. To try to get their experience and kind of learn what can we do for our students and what can we change in our curriculum to help recruiting efforts, but also prepare them for the work industry, and what as a education system can we develop to better change the industry. So we're even discussing ways to incorporate some of those soft skills, kind of having a class to even discuss, okay, so what does it mean to be a woman in this industry? What are some things that you could potentially encounter, and what are the resources that you can use moving forward?
I
Hi,
think we talk
everyone.
about this a lot, don't we? Marianne and
Yeah,
I talk quite a bit, and we're always talking
yeah.
about the soft skills and trying to prepare young ladies to deal with these things because we do know that they're going to come up, and I think that's half the battle. Just giving them the confidence and preparing them so they know, hey, this potentially could happen, and here's the ways to handle that. You know, things that are healthy. You don't have to deal with peer pressure. I know a lot of the girls are the only ones in the shop, so all the guys want to go out drinking. She wants to be part of the group, and she does not have to do that. She can feel confident that this is work and she can keep it professional. And uh, by all means, I feel like these young ladies need to know that and they need to hear that. So I hope the schools will encourage them to join groups like ours so that they can come and ask questions and not be afraid to do so. But yeah, those soft skills are so important. I'm excited to see that they're putting that stuff in there.
Yeah, the soft skills are so important. And to just kind of tag on to what Tiffany was saying, I think the better prepared you are for situations and how to navigate through them or deal with them, they don't seem to be so big when they happen because you're well prepared or you're not thrown off guard. And I think that's what happens a lot of times, maybe being the only woman in a shop or whatever work situation you're in and trying to fit in, get along with everyone. But how do I navigate through those? So I think being prepared actually empowers these young women. You brought that up, and just on a local level here, I was at recently, about a month or so ago, at a local high school that is they had the technical programs there, and they had an automotive program. And actually, the woman who's in charge, the person in charge is a woman. She is in charge of that program, and she is the instructor there. And I've been to a couple of different meetings there, but this was mock interviews where had the opportunity to go in. And she was doing her, but maybe a 10-15 minute presentation about the program. And we had different businesses come in and they were helping with the interviews. And what surprised me was how she pitched it, because she said a lot of the dealerships come in and do. She was very open about it. Come in and try to come in and get the students like right when they graduate. But she said for some reason they don't stay. So, even if my suggestion would be get involved, definitely go to these types of events and network with people and learn. And what we did was we offered job shadowing. And so far we've had 4 students come through within the last 5 weeks and do the job shadowing, and really nice young people coming in to really learn about the industry and get that firsthand experience in a shop. Some of them are graduating this year, and a couple of them have another year left in the program. But I think, to your point, Jeff, getting involved, right? The dealerships are the ones that are showing up a lot of times. So we have to take that opportunity to show up, put that effort in.
I was just here in this area, we have a lot of independent shops that hire our students. Most of my students are actually at independent shops. So just an idea, we have to be accredited by ASE, and part of that accreditation that way, and being a professional technical program, we have advisory boards, and we love to have voices from all of industry. So if there's an independent shop that's interested in learning more about the programs or being involved, your local professional technical automotive program would more than likely be glad to have you on their advisory board.
And I can second that. We have a few of independent shops on our advisory boards, and they have a lot of interest in connecting with our students. I know at CPCC, we have employer meet and greets that we have some consistent ones show out to kind of give students that extra layer of maybe a bigger shop is not your forte. You can come over to independent shops. And so I would recommend trying to connect with those local education agencies as well.
So, Tiffany, you have any other words for us?
No, I mean, I really think they covered this topic well. I was just really excited to get the opportunity to get some of the schools on here and encourage shops to go out there and connect with them. Um, I know personally, my shop connecting with our local technology center, I've gotten three really great guys that have been with me. Two of them for 2 years. Another one's getting ready to graduate in May, and he's just fabulous and he's hungry and he wants to learn everything from diagnostics, transmissions. I mean, anything that we will throw at him, he's just eager to absorb it. And like Amber and Kiara and Elaine said, working with the students, it's just so there's so much joy in watching them learn and take it in and giving them what they need when the dealerships, unfortunately, sometimes we'll just stick them on a lube rack or give them a mop or have them clean up after everybody, and then we do lose them, and it's unfortunate. There's some other programs out there who are really picky. Marianne and I spoke with a lady who's doing some awesome mentor stuff in Illinois, and if that dealership doesn't put them with a technician during their program, they take them out. When the student reports that they're not turning wrenches, that dealer does not get to have those kiddos anymore. So this stuff is coming to light. It's being exposed, and the dealerships are having to step up. So I am hopeful that because of these changes, we will see more people stay in the industry and continue on instead of just leaving after they spent all that time in training and going to school. It's just really, really unfortunate that we see that so often.
Yeah, I think it's a great time to come into the automotive industry just because of everything that was discussed today. It's not the automotive industry is not the way it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. It's so different. And the workforce today is a different workforce. The good thing is they're not going to tolerate the way things were years ago, pushing a broom, that's not what they signed up for. So I think it's a great opportunity for young people to come into the industry right now.
But I really like how Tiffany said that teacher, the instructor, if they're not being mentored, it pulls them from the program. Sometimes you have to step up and do things like that. That's awesome right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And just to add a second layer, I used to work in the work-based learning department, which some of our academic programs require students to have those internships. And so within the automotive industry, we would have some of the smaller shops and also, of course, the dealerships kind of connect those internships and that work-based learning experience. So it will be great to have some of our shops kind of connect on that level. But also we did do if they're not going in, turning the wrenches and meeting their measurable learning objectives that we've stated for their programs, then we pull them out and try to connect them to some other resources that's available.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that really is.
I love it and so enlightening. So thank you, Amber, Elaine. Thank you, Kiara, Tiffany, and Marianne. It's been a great night.
And
thank you guys for having us.
Yes.
It's so amazing. Last time we heard the stories of the struggles and working, at the shops and stuff. And then now here we hear this group as they're trying to bring those young ones in, and they've been through the struggles, some of them for as long as me. And and then it's like, okay, we got to make some changes. And so to hear the different stories, this is just amazing. So thank you all so much for your considerations tonight and sharing your stories. And we appreciate Tiffany so much on setting all these up for us. That's Tiffany. That's like a huge weight off of my shoulders, and you've got them planned
No
out
problem.
on which ones that we're doing, continuing because of our sponsors. And y'all remember them, Milton Industries, with Z-Line Pro Max and LTI and STEC, and then Associated Equipment. Associated Equipment is the blue battery chargers. They don't sell to the public. They sell through, the suppliers, the tool trucks and all that. And just remember, if you're looking at equipment and stuff, be sure and check those folks out that help support us. As always, I appreciate y'all watching.